You're a detective assigned to burglary division. You get a call that an important piece of religious art has been stolen from the oldest church in town. There's no lead to its whereabouts. Your job, find it. This drama is of an actual crime. You will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case from official police files, from beginning to end, from crime to punishment. It was Christmas Eve and cold. I was working the day watch out of burglary division with my partner, Frank. The boss is Captain Bernard. My name's Kelly. Jack. Lead detective. I was with my partner, Frank, in room 45. Burglary. Burglary? Yes, that's right. Do you have the right department? Yes. All right, sister, we'll be right down. No, you can tell us about it there. Goodbye.
What's that about, Jack?
The old mission church, they've had a theft.
Collection money?
Statue of the child Jesus. Frank and I rode to the old mission church. Founded in 1781, the outside was typical early Spanish design, adobe and painted white. Devout Mexicans in town still attended services there. 10:05 a.m., Frank and I crossed to the courtyard. A sister was sitting on a stone bench, reading her morning prayers, as none has done here for nearly 20 years. We asked for Sister Mary John, and we were told she was inside. The church glowed with hundreds of votive candles flickering on both sides of the altar and the shrines throughout the church. We found Sister Mary John up near the sanctuary, looking at the nativity scene. She told us about the crib. It was a $70 duplication of the scene at Bethlehem. The parishioners had taken up a collection for it 31 years ago. It was beautiful, except that one of the shepherds had lost an arm and a sheep was old and cracked. The infant Jesus was missing. Sister Mary John led us back into the sacristy.
I'm sorry to bother you today of all days, this being Christmas Eve.
Oh, that's all right, sister.
I discovered the statue was missing right after the 6 o'clock mass. Nowhere to be seen.
Was the statue there before mass?
It was there last night and it will not be there tonight.
How late is the church open?
All night.
You leave it wide open so that any thief can walk in?
Particularly thieves, detective.
Huh. You say it was there last night, sister. How late?
10 or 11 o'clock.
No one saw it after that?
One of the older boys. He says it may have been there. He thinks it was.
What's his name?
Here's the schedule. Joseph McAfee's the one who says it might have been there.
Just for checking the pawn shops. How much is that statue worth?
In money, only a few dollars. We could get a new one, but it wouldn't be the same. We've had children in the parish. They've grown up and married. It's the only Jesus they know.
We understand, sister.
Oh, so many of the people that come here are simple people. They wouldn't understand, Sergeant. That's why it would mean so much to have you back for the first Mass on Christmas.
Less than 24 hours.
Yes, it's sad, isn't it? Tragic, if you catch my drift.
How's that?
Oh, in so short a time, some men learn to steal, and others are left with nothing.
Yes, but consider us, sister. If some of them didn't, we'd be out of work. 10:50 a.m., we notified pawn shop detail. Frank and I checked out the altar boy, Joseph McAfee. His father said he had a part-time job, but he'd have him get in touch with us right after his lunch. By 11:30 a.m., we'd run out of book procedure. We had a man to find. Our only clue was he'd been to church. 11:33 a.m., we checked the phone books for the names of religious stores in the area. When we got to the first one, the only person in the store was an elderly woman sitting by a table. In front of her was a large, beautifully carved chess set.
You caught me in the middle of a big chess match.
Where's your partner?
Up in San Jose. We've been playing for years. Waiting for the big event.
Same match?
You know, we do it through the mail. I send him a move, he sends me one, weather permitting.
Well, that must keep you on your toes.
Except during the holidays, you know, unexpected snowstorms, mail gets all fiddled up. It's no good.
Yeah, I guess not. Use Francine Flavin.
How'd you know?
Your name is on the window out front. We're checking stores around the Mission Church here for a statue of the baby Jesus. Do you have one that we could look at, sister? Proprietor, a large one.
You don't want a larger one. Unless you got a bigger place. It'll make your living room look all a kilter.
Yes, ma'am. Do people ever come in and sell back a religious article?
Like a prayer book or rosary beads? People don't have religious articles so they can get rid of them. They have them so they can have them.
But if someone had a statue and wanted to sell it, they'd come to a place like this? And if it were stolen?
No, sir. I don't know what you fellas are looking for, but if somebody who stole a statue, he's crazy and you won't never find him. You won't find him as long as you live.
We checked out the religious stores out as far as Van Ness. We asked the same questions. The owners gave us the same answers. Frank and I had lunch and reported back to the office. It was 1:30 p.m. and we started into the squad room.
I'm Joseph McAfee.
Oh.
My father said you wanted to see me.
Sit down, son. You didn't have to come, and a phone call would have worked.
My father said to get on over. He says that any kid that uses a phone is lazy.
We wanted to ask you about this morning. You served 6 o'clock mass?
Yes, sir. I'm senior boy, so I get the 6.
Sister John says you think the statue was there before Mass.
Oh, I didn't look, but I have a feeling it was there. You know how you have a feeling about something, but you're not sure. But I'm sure.
Did you stay long after Mass?
Well, about 5 minutes, maybe.
Did any of the people at Mass stay on?
Sometimes. After I went back to the sacristy, there was only this one man. No one else to arrive or depart. No one.
You know his name?
No, sir. But he works down on Olive Street. You know the sign shop? Where they paint signs?
Could you describe him?
Sort of medium. He was wearing a suit that didn't match, you know. Different pants and a coat.
How about his age?
Oh, well, he's old. About 40, maybe. There's nothing particular about him.
Then why did you notice him?
I've seen him before. Well, and the bundle, I guess.
The bundle?
Out in front, I saw him when he was coming out. He had this bundle, and he almost dropped it.
How large a bundle? About the size of the statue?
About that big, yes, sir.
We located the sign shop. The suspect didn't work there anymore, but we discovered his name was Claude Stroop. We found out where he lived. 2:25 p.m. we arrived there. It was a hotel for men, mostly old, down and outers. It was called the Golden Dream. Police officers, we're looking for Claude Stroop.
Hope Claude didn't get in any trouble.
Yeah, so do we. Is he in?
No, he's got room 307. You can check if you like.
We'll take your word. Did you have the early shift?
No, we don't have shifts. My uncle owns the place. I'm the shift.
Did Stroop spend last night here?
It came in about 11.
And when did he leave this morning?
Around 6.
Did he come back after?
Supposed to be back at 10. Then pulls this trick.
What trick?
Our program. He knows the other fellas need him.
Graham.
Here at the hotel. Every Christmas we have a program, but put up a tree and sing. They're mostly old fellas. Sing like that makes them remember back when they were kids.
When Stroop came in this morning, did he have a bundle?
Well, if you want to look for a bundle, I could give you this key. It's all right with me.
No, it's not with us. No.
Yeah, I didn't mean that. I just meant. Good King Wenceslas looked
There were
out
3 old
on
men.
The feast of Stephen.
We couldn't
when
tell how
the
much
snow
better
lay
they'd be.
down
They had Stroop singing along as a 4th part, but somehow you didn't care. This was Christmas at the Golden Dream, and well, it sounded just fine.
It's a shame Claude isn't here. He's tenor. They need to make it sound just right. I hope it's nothing serious for Claude. A fellow's troubles ought to be over.
Troubles?
Way back. It wouldn't count now.
Tell us, No, tell us anyway.
No, it was something back when he used to live, and he robbed somebody or something. But he forgot it all, the robbing and everything.
No, not quite.
Huh?
He remembered it this morning. We went back to the office and ran Stroop's names through R&I. He'd been booked anywhere, but we had no record of it. At least not under that name. 4:15 p.m. Pawn shop detail reported back. The object resembling the statue of the child Jesus had not been turned in.
Just as the cast and crew were about to settle into the knowledge that Tallulah and company were not showing, a new complication arose. Theodora Teasdale took it upon herself to become the Teasdale's Oil of Life spokesperson. The multifaceted tonic was more of a sipping libation and 80 proof alcohol. Theodora loved her product too much. The proverbial games had just begun.
Ladies and gentlemen, do you suffer from cuts, burns, bruises, chilblains, frostbite, chapped hands, sore throat, diphtheria, rheumatism, piles, or earache? Are you prone to coughs, colds, croup, whooping cough, asthma, and kidney infections? Don't you wish you could find one product that could help you with all of these and more? Well, look no farther than Dr. Oscar Teasdale's Oil of Life for man or beast. Just take a big spoonful with every meal. It's so tasty, too.
You suffer from gout, coughs make your throat dry. You're passing a stone, discomfort is high. Teasdale's Oil of the Life to your aid. It's just the thing for frostbite, for cuts and burns and piles. Say toodaloo diphtheria and turn those frowns to smiles. For beast young and old, this magical cure. Look and behold, good health is for sure. Teasdale's Oil of Life to your aid. For man or beast.
Dr. Oscar Teasdale's Oil of Life for man or beast. Available at Herrick Hardware and South Thrifty Drug.
You're listening to Stolen Babe of Bethlehem. And now, Act 2.
4:43 p.m. We went back to the Golden Dream Hotel. The desk clerk was right. Claude Stroop looked like a man who'd had his troubles at bargain rates. Your name, Claude Stroop?
Yes, sir.
Police officers, we'd like to talk to you.
I didn't do anything against the law. Honest, I didn't do anything against it.
You have not been accused.
We want to take you downtown. We want to have a talk with you.
No, sir, I'm not going. I'm not going to talk to anybody.
Yeah, you're half wrong already. We returned Stroop for interrogation. He kept his word. He refused to talk. We got our final report from pawn shop details. The shops were closed. There was no statue. Stroop still hadn't talked.
Why don't you tell us what happened, Stroop?
From mass on.
Oh, well, I left my stuff at the hotel, and then I picked up George's car. I didn't steal it. He said I could have it any time I wanted. Only this time I didn't ask him. I took it and started out. I went over to Grand Avenue for Christmas bulbs, where the fella sells them secondhand. I was coming out of the lot that I did it, and the bumper must have caught the other car. I didn't leave too big of a dent, but there was this long scratch. I didn't think anybody saw. I don't know how you fellas found out about it.
I'll check auto records.
Right. Stroop, we didn't bring you down here to talk about that.
You didn't?
No. There's a statue missing from the church. The statue of the child Jesus.
You mean I took it?
You took a bundle out of church.
Yes, sir. That was my other pants for the program tonight. I wouldn't take a statue.
Oh, I didn't think you would either, Stroop. But go on home.
For the program? You mean it's all right?
Yes, yes. Good night. Good night, Stroop.
Oh, good night. And Merry Christmas.
7/7/27. Found Sister Mary John. Frank told her that we couldn't get the stuff back by morning, but we'd have to keep looking, and we'd do good for her during the week. She said she understood. As Frank and I started to leave, the doors at the main entrance to the church opened. It was a good 200 feet away, but it was hard to be sure, but it looked like a small boy drawing a bright red wagon behind him. When he got closer, we could see that he was no bigger than a pint of milk. It was a luminous-eyed little Mexican boy with a face as young as yesterday.
Paquito?
In the back of his wagon was the missing statue of the child Jesus. He picked it up gently and walked up to the sister.
Sister Mary Juan?
He just stood there, looking up at Sister Mary John.
It's Paco Mendoza, boy from the parish.
Ask him. Ask him where he found it.
¿Dónde lo encontraste?
No lo encontré. Lo cogí esta mañana.
Oh, he says he didn't found it, he took it.
Why?
¿Por qué?
Todos los años Paquito rezo por un camioncito rojo. Este año Paquito le rezo al niño Jesús. Yo prometí al niño Jesús el primer viaje en mi camioncito.
He says all through the years, he has prayed for a little red wagon. This year, he prayed to the baby Jesus. He promised that if he got the wagon, he would give the baby Jesus the first ride in it.
¿Va a venir el diablo para llevar Paquito?
Oh, he wants to know if the devil will take him to hell.
That's your department, sister.
No, el diablo. Jesus ama a Paquito mucho.
We crossed over to the sanctuary. With the help of Sister Mary John, the young boy replaced the infant Jesus in its rightful place, the crib, and the nativity scene. Frank and I could have been wrong, but the small plaster statue seemed to glow in approval. Mary, Joseph, the wise men, the old shepherd, the young shepherd, the peasant, they all seemed to approve.
Vuelve a tu casa, Paquito.
Sister told the boy to go home. He took hold of his wagon and started the long walk out of the church. There wasn't much we could say at that point. We just stood there and watched him go.
I don't understand how we got the wagon today. Don't the kids wait for Santa Claus anymore?
It isn't from Santa Claus. The firemen fix old toys and give them to the children. Paquito's family, they're very poor.
Are they, sister? Are they?
All right, the story that you heard. Ladies and gents, may I introduce that Academy Award winner for Mildred Pierce, one of my favorites, and I know y'all like her too, because she's the personification of youth and beauty and joy and happiness, Miss Joan Crawford.
Oh, weren't you wonderful in that film? And I'm sure our listeners would love to hear what you've been up to lately.
Well, I have a new picture coming out, Harriet Craig.
Wonderful, darling. We'll all look forward to that, won't we?
Thank you, Lula. Thank you. Thank you, Groucho, and Merry Christmas, everyone. And especially to our uniformed men and women unable to be with their loved ones. I love the holidays, the colors, the lights, the children, warm fires, the cider, and the tales and stories we tell.
And I happen to have a gift perfect for any Christmas Eve. The darling O. Henry or the gift of the magic. Joe, could we possibly convince you to share this classic of giving?
If you like, I adore this story. And I know you're going to adore it too. Louis! $1.87. Della counted it 3 times. Tomorrow would be Christmas Day, and she had only $1.87 with which to buy her husband, Jim, a present. She had been saving every penny she could for months, many a happy hour she had spent planning to give him something fine and rare. She stood before the mirror and let down her hair to its full length. There were 2 possessions in which Jim and Della took a mighty pride. One was Jim's gold watch, and the other had been his father's possession and his grandfather's before, but the other possession was Della's hair, rippling and shining down below her knee. She fluttered down the stairs to the street, stopping when she saw a sign.
Madame Safrani's hair goods of all kinds.
1 flight up, Della ran and collected herself, panting.
Yes,
Are you Madame Safrani?
indeed I am. And how might I help you today?
Will you buy my hair?
I buy hair. Take your hat off and let's get a look at the looks of it.
Down rippled the brown cascade.
$20.
Give it to me, quick.
The next 2 hours flew by as she was ransacking the stores for Jim's present. She found it at last. It surely had been made for Jim and no one else. It was a platinum fob chain worthy of the watch. As soon as she saw it, she knew it must be Jim's. $21 they took her for it, and she hurried home with the 87 cents. When Della reached her home, her intoxication gave way to prudence and reason. She got out her curling iron, and within 40 minutes her head was covered with tiny, close-lying curls. She looked at herself in the mirror.
If Jim doesn't kill me before he takes a second look at me, he'll say I look like a Coney Island chorus girl. But what could I do? Oh, what could I do with $1.87?
At 7 o'clock, the coffee was made and the frying pan was on the stove, hot and ready to cook the chops. Della doubled the fob chain in her hand as she heard his steps on the stairs. She turned white and whispered a little prayer.
Please, God, make him think I'm still pretty.
Jim stopped inside the door. His eyes were fixed upon Della, and there was an expression in them that she could not read.
Jim, darling, don't look at me that way. I had my hair cut off and sold because I couldn't live through another Christmas without giving you a present. It'll grow out again. You won't mind, will you? I just had to do it. My hair grows awfully fast. Well, say Merry Christmas, Jim, and let's be happy. You don't know what a nice, beautiful, nice gift I've got for you.
You've cut off your hair?
Well, cut it off and sold it. Don't you like me just as well, anyhow? Well, I'm me without my hair, ain't I?
You say your hair is gone?
You needn't look for it. It's sold, I tell you. Sold and gone to... It's Christmas Eve. Be good to me, for it went to you. Maybe the hairs on my head were numbered, but nobody could ever count my love for you. Shall I put the chops on, Jim?
Out of his trance, Jim seemed to quickly wake. He drew a package from his overcoat pocket, and he threw it upon the table.
Don't make a mistake about me, Dell. I don't think there's anything in the way of a haircut or shave or shampoo that could make me like my girl any less. But if you unwrap that package, you'll see why you had me going at first.
She tore at the stringing paper, then she let out an ecstatic scream of joy. But then the joy, it turned to tears, for there lay the combs that Della had worshipped long in the Broadway window. Beautiful combs, pure tortoise shell with jeweled rims, just the shade to wear in the beautiful, vanished hair. And now they were hers. She hugged them to her bosom.
My hair grows so fast, Jim.
Jim had not yet seen his beautiful present. She held it to him eagerly.
Isn't it dandy, Jim? I hunt it all around town. You'll have to look at the 2,100 times a day now. Give me a watch. Let me see how it looks on you.
Hey! Let's not open our Christmas presents just at Wilder. Well, they're too nice to use at present. I sold my watch to buy your combs.
Oh, sorry, Jim.
Sorry. Sorry, darling? Sorry because you made me the happiest man in the world? Oh, honey, I never realized how much we had until just now, and now I'll never forget.
Oh, Jim, put your arms around me and don't ever take them away.
The Magi, as you know, were wise men, wonderfully wise men, who brought gifts to the babe in the manger. They invented the art of giving Christmas presents. And here we have lamely related the uneventful chronicle of two fools who sacrificed for each other the greatest treasures of their house. But in the last word, the wise, all who give and receive gifts, they are the wisest. They are the Magi.
Well, Joan, you were divine, darling. Listening to you brought back warm memories, dear memories of days gone by. Maybe I'm sentimental about those, but memories are my dearest possessions.
I wholeheartedly agree.
Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Joan Crawford.